Right, hello and welcome back, Year 10 Triple Scientists. So it is week 13, I think, week 13 when this goes up. And we're going to be looking at plant hormones today. So a Year 11 triple biology topic. So something that you guys will have to do that the rest of your year group won't have to do. Okay, so keywords for today, auxin, phototrophism, gravitrophism, and stimuli. So there are your keywords if you're looking to write a date, title, so title, plant, hormones, and keywords exactly like you would be doing if it was a normal lesson. Okay, not a word, so learning objectives, describe the use of auxin in the response to stimuli in plants. So we're going to be doing a little bit about plants today. So what I want you to do first, like we always do in a lesson, you've obviously got your date, title, keywords written down, and then I want you to have a go at the do now activity. So I want you to pause the screen, have a think about what the answers to the do now activity would be. Right, that should have given you more than enough time to pause the screen and carry on. Okay, so we're going to have a go at answering these questions now, so I'll write the answers down as we go. So what does heterozygous mean? Heterozygous means different forms of the same gene or of a gene. So different forms of a gene. If you're homozygous, then you can have the same form of a gene. If you're heterozygous, then you're going to have different forms of the gene. Okay, next little bit then to calculate the MR of HNO3, which is nitric acid. I've given you there, so you didn't need a periodic table. I've given you the mass numbers. So hydrogen's 1, there's only 1 hydrogen. Nitrogen's 14, there's 1 nitrogen. And then oxygen's 16, so you've got 3 oxygens. Okay, I'm going to put that into my calculator just to, hold on, I've done that wrong. 16 times by 3 plus 1. Plus 14. If you're feeling pretty confident, then you can do it in your head, but if not, have a go using a calculator. Name the 4 rocky planets. I'm not going to mess it up this time. Sorry, last time I was getting a little bit flustered trying to get going on the video. I do know the order of the planets, I promise. Name the 4 rocky planets. The 4 rocky planets are the ones closest to the sun. So you've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. So the 4 closest to the sun. Then you'll have your asteroid belt, which is left over for making planets. What does eutrophication mean? Eutrophication is when fertilizer ends up in the water. It causes algae to grow on the top, so the sun doesn't get in. There's no oxygen. It means certain bacteria can grow loads, but it also means that most plants and animals that already lived in a pond or a lake have no access to oxygen, so the plants don't grow, so there's no access to food, okay? What is the pH of a weak acid? So weak acid's going to be about 4 to 6, okay? The weakest acid would be pH 6. What causes something to become radioactive? An unstable nuclei, okay? So something's happened to its nuclei, it's emitting, often it's emitting electrons out, or a gamma ray or something, it's caused it to become unstable. So they're the answers to the do now activity. Make sure you give yourself a tick if you got them right. You can even add it up and give yourself a score out of 6 if you fancy. Okay, so the next little bit we're going to look at now is plants and why they might behave the way they do. Okay, you might see plants like this outside, or especially if you've got plant somewhere in your house that doesn't have as much access to water as it needs to. Okay, so I want you to press pause and have a go at answering these 3 questions. Why might a plant behave like this? Looking at the picture, so why might a plant behave like this? Other than light, what stimuli might a plant respond to? So changes in its environment, so what kind of things might a plant respond to? And how is this similar or different to the reflex arc in humans? So in humans, if we touch something hot, our nervous system responds by making sure that we can lift our hands straight back off so we don't burn ourselves or limit the damage. So how might that be similar to what plants are doing right here? Okay, so press pause, have a go answering them, and then obviously I'm going to answer and work through them with you. Right, so normally I'd be asking you for the answers to help me. So why might a plant behave like this? 9 times out of 10, well, I can't think of another reason, is to get close to light. Okay, so it's moving towards the light. Why do plants want to be close to the light? they want to be close to the light because they need it for photosynthesis. Why do they need it for photosynthesis? Because that's how plants make glucose, which is a plant's food source. Okay, so you can see here that that big topic that you would have done last year in year 10, photosynthesis, is straight away relating back to what's happening here. Okay, so why might plants behave like this? They're moving towards the light. Okay, they're trying to get close to the light. The reason they're doing this, they want to photosynthesize because they want to make their food. There's loads of reasons then. You could have even gone into why do we need glucose? We need it for our seeds. We need it for respiration. Remember, plants do respire. So we need it for respiration to make energy. And so on and so forth. So there's loads of different reasons as why we do it. Other than light, what stimuli might a plant respond to? So respond to the amount of water or lack of water. Respond to concentrations of CO2. It might even change based on like wind. So you could say the weather is a big stimuli for plants. So there are a couple of things that plants might respond to. How is this similar or different to a reflex arc? So it is a reaction, making it similar. So it's something that a plant does in a change to its environment. So it is reacting to a stimuli, which is exactly the same as what humans would do. I would say, however, reflex arc is automatic. So you don't even realise your body's thinking about doing it. This is a little bit slower. So a difference would be that this is a little bit slower. It's still a reaction. It's still a change. It still uses the other thing that this uses hormones, which is a little bit different to the reflex arc, which uses our nervous system. So it uses neurons. So that's another difference as well. But it's still a reaction. It's still changing because of a reaction to stimuli. Okay? So we're going to go through a couple of these keywords we had at the beginning, thinking about what they mean. That's the same slide twice. They mean, okay? So trophisms. Trophism is a growth movement of part of a plant in response to a stimulus. Okay, so we said a stimulus was a change in the environment. So positive trophisms when a plant grows towards a stimulus, negative trophisms when a plant grows away from the stimulus, okay? A bit different from us because we don't grow towards or because we have the ability to move ourselves a little bit more easily. Shoots and roots respond differently. So shoots, the top part of the plant, roots are obviously what's in the ground. Shoots grow towards the light and against the force of gravity because gravity should be pulling them down. Plants grow upwards, the shoot does. Roots grow towards moisture and in the direction of the force of gravity. So they're growing downwards. They don't play on gravity because they're going exactly the same way as gravity. If you wanted to make any notes, especially what trophism is, we're going to kind of go through how shoots and roots respond now, but especially what trophism is. And then Oxen, you might say it differently, okay? Oxen controls the growth of plants by promoting cell division, okay? So it promotes something called mitosis, which is the cell division that we use for growth and repair, okay? So another topic that we might not have covered yet, but you will cover it at some point this year. So growth and repair. So cell division, growth and repair, and cause an elongation in plant cells. So the cells get longer. So in certain parts of the plant will grow longer because the auxin's saying that cell division should take place, normally so it can grow towards the light. Stems and roots respond differently to high concentrations of auxin. Cells in the stems grow more, cells in the roots grow less. Okay, so that's just a little bit about the hormone that controls this entire process. So again, what I want you to do, press pause. Obviously, I'll carry on in a minute. I'll give you a couple of seconds to press pause. Have a go at these answers. If you're feeling confident, correct them. And then obviously, once you press pause and had to go at it, I will then give you the answers. Okay. So, positive trophisms. The plant grows away from the stimulus. That is false. With a positive trophism, it grows towards the stimulus. So, positive trophisms grow towards the stimulus. Negative trophisms, the plant grows away from the stimulus. That is true. Shoots grow towards the light and against the force of gravity. Again, that is true. Oxen controls cell growth. That's true. Oxen helps meiosis, which is sexual reproduction. That is false. So that's the other type of cell division that I didn't mention. I said that it was called mitosis. Okay, mitosis. What do we use mitosis for? Growth and repair. Okay, so that's what we use mitosis for, growth and repair. So that's just a little bit of an overview of what trophisms are and the hormone that controls trophisms. So moving on to the first type of trophism, phototrophism. You might have seen these before, especially this experiment by here, whereby if you place a plant in a dark environment, but there's somewhere for light to occur, like you can see with this one, there's light right at the top, a plant using Oxen will grow towards the light source. Same like this, it's bending towards that light source, okay? Plants rely on light so much, they'll do anything to get access to light, okay? So trophism is how a plant responds to a stimuli. What stimuli is it responding to? Photo, which is like a Latin word for light, okay? So like photosynthesis, which is using light. Same kind of thing now, so phototrophism responding to light. Okay, so in a stem, the shaded side contains more Oxen and grows longer. This causes the stem to grow and bend towards the light. It is vital to note that the plant does not bend towards the light. Okay, so it's not bending, it's growing. Okay, it's getting longer, it's elongating. Okay, so the shaded side contains more Oxen, it causes it to grow towards the light. Okay, it does not bend. Okay, so we may say bend, and I think I've already said bend going through this. Okay, but the proper term is not bending, it's actually growing. So if you were to measure C compared to B, it's likely that these C's ones would be a little bit longer because they've been doing cell division to grow slightly longer. Okay, explain what happens to each seedling A, B, and C. Okay, so again, press pause, have a go answering it, and then I'm obviously going to pop up the answers now. Right, I'm just going to kind of focus on what's happening with C, okay? You can look at the answers if you want to pause the video and look at the answers for A and B, but I'm just going to focus on what's happening to C because that's the most important one for you, okay? So as you can see with C, normally it would be growing upwards. It should be going upwards. It should have equal concentrations of its hormone on both sides. So if I was to draw it like that, equal concentrations of the hormone on both sides. Okay, what happens though to cause it to bend towards the light? Okay, so to bend towards the light, more hormone appears on this side than on this side. So more hormone on the shaded side, okay, more hormone on the shaded side, which promotes cell growth so it can grow towards the light. Okay, the cell on the darker side of the stem grows longer. Okay, so if it's growing towards the light, there's an unequal concentration. Okay, so on this side, you can see I've got 4 and 4, same amount of hormone on both sides. Now with here, I've got 5 and 3. This is because it needs the growth hormone on this side to grow towards light. Okay, by all means pause and read what I've taken for A and B, but what we were focusing on there is C. Okay, what is C doing? Why is it bending like that? So that's phototrophism. The other type of trophism then, same kind of thing, trophism, how plants respond to stimuli. This one is to do with gravity. Okay, so a plant's response to gravity by here. You might see it sometimes written, if you're going to Google it, sometimes written as geotrophism. Okay, so be careful. They might use that in WJC. We're told to teach you gravitrophism, but you never know. Okay, so just be aware that geotrophin is exactly the same thing. Okay, when a root responds in the direction of the force of gravity, this is known as positive gravitrophism. Just like phototrophism, gravitrophism is used to cause by an unequal distribution of Oxen. Okay, so again, it's causing cell growth because of an unequal distribution of Oxen, that hormone that promotes cell growth. In a root placed horizontally, both sides contain more Oxen and grow less, causing the root to grow in the direction of the force of gravity. Okay, so just looking at a picture like this, this is at the beginning. Okay, this is at the beginning. So it's lying flat. Imagine you planted this as a little seed or something. Oxen gathers at the lower half of the root and the stem. Okay, so more Oxen is growing by here or is appearing by here. Okay, that means that Oxen then causes the root to grow downwards. It also does cause the shoot to grow upwards. Okay, so unequal distribution, showing you where it's going to move upwards. Okay, so exactly what the auxin does, all it does is cause it to grow downwards where the root should be with the force of gravity, and in this case it's also causing the stem to grow upwards with out the force of gravity, so against the force of gravity. So wherever that distribution of auxin is, and as you can see there's hardly any on the top here because it's not needed, you need it on the bottom to force the roots downwards so they'll grow in the right place. Okay, so again, another little review, press and pause. A student grew a plant in an upright pot. So he's got one plant in an upright pot. She then put the pot in a horizontal position and left the plant in the dark for 2 days. Okay, so this is the plant she was originally growing. That's the plant that she started with. She then put it in an upright position, a horizontal position in the dark for 2 days. Okay, she came back after 2 days and this is what it looked like. Okay, so once she pushed it over, so this is just her tipping the plant over there, and then she came back after 2 days. And that's what the plant looks like. Okay, so this is a GCSE style question. Explain fully why the plant responded in this way. So 4 marks, why did the plant respond in this way? Again, I want you to press pause, have a go. Obviously, I'm going to put the answers up in a minute, but I'd like you to press pause and think about why the plant responded in this way. Right, so obviously you've now paused the video and had a go at the question. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's got 2 pictures of the plant now. So I'm going to try and work through the 4 mark question with you. So shaded environment, plant will start to grow towards the light. So that's what's happening down here, is this section is trying to grow towards light. It's looking for light, it's trying to go towards light. Oxen would be unequally distributed. The reason for that is it's going to promote going to cause cell division. What was the word for cell division? Mitosis. Well, the cell division we're talking about, there's 2 types of cell division, and that causes the plant to grow. Okay, so it causes cell division, cell growth. So that would give you another point as well there. What I was going to say finally, you're going to have an unequal distribution. So you're going to have more auxin in certain places. It's going to most probably be along the bottom. If you think back to the original picture, especially by here, all your auxin is going to be on the bottom part of the plant. Okay. What's then going to happen is it's going to cause it, so unequal distribution. You're going to have some of it undergoing gravotrophism, forcing the roots down, and then you're going to have some of it causing the plant to grow upwards, so phototrophism. So it's going to be to do with the unequal distribution of auxin, so it caused the roots to grow downwards. And the shoot to grow upwards. Okay, and then, so that's kind of how you'd answer that 4 mark question. Again, that would most probably get you a mark. Even if you drew a diagram, you'd likely get a mark there. Okay, so the reason for this is the roots are going to be going downwards towards gravity, the shoot's going to be going upwards, away from gravity towards light. It's going to be looking for light, and what's going to cause it to do this? Auxin would be unequally distributed. It's going to be on the lower part of the plant, and that's going to cause the plant to actually, remember, it's not actually bending, it just moves towards the light. Okay, so it grows towards the light. And then finally, a little bit of a task. So obviously what I want to see uploaded on Teams is all your work showing that you've actually paused the video and had to go at the questions. Okay, and then there's like a little criteria, kind of like an end bit. Okay, so if you were looking just to achieve a grade D but no one is, just give the definitions of the different types of trophism. So should we call this assessment, so I can kind of see when I mark your work? Okay, so we'll call this assessment so that we can kind of see what you have learned so far. Okay, so give the definitions of the different types of trophism. So that's one thing. Describe the main plant hormone and where it's produced. You might need to do a little bit of research, so I don't think I mentioned where it's produced. Use diagrams to show how shoots and roots respond to different stimuli. Explain each of your diagrams using the term auxin, stimulus, and cell elongation. Okay, so that's just cell growth. Okay, so realistically, everyone should be able to answer all of them questions and be able to get the A-star grade. Okay, so this is obviously going to be called assessment. Just a little assessment at the end. Obviously, upload all the work you've done so I can see it. Okay, again, let me know if there's anything you don't understand, or if you don't like these videos, or if you do like these videos, can you just let me know so we can kind of work as a science department moving forward. Okay, so see you all soon. Bye.